Hey guys, welcome to Section 3, Chapter 9 of the Pre-Algebra program. And today we're going to do something completely different than what we've done all year. Today we're going to talk about triangles. And we're not actually going to solve anything. We're just going to start to identify types of triangles and be able to classify them. This is important for our next skill. The next section will kind of bring in everything together. We're going to be dealing with triangles, which I just want to say are my favorite shape in the whole world because you can do so many things with them. They are super fun. But I wanted to just introduce you to the types of triangles. Maybe you've seen this before, maybe not. But there's two ways that we can classify them. So we can classify triangles by their sides. So for example, if all of their sides are the same, then we call that an equilateral triangle. You see the root word equal in there. If two of the sides are the same, we would call that an isosceles triangle. And if none of the sides are the same, we would call that a scalene triangle. So this is a classification by side. But then we also classify by angles. So if all of the angles are less than 90 degrees, remember that a 90-degree angle looks like this. This is 90 degrees. So if we're less than that, then those are going to be acute triangles. If you can see a right angle or what appears to be a right angle in the triangle, that would be a right triangle. And then if you have one angle that is larger than 90 degrees, that's considered an obtuse triangle. Okay, so part of math is learning the math vocabulary. It almost is like learning a different language. So I want you guys to be comfortable hearing all of these terms and then being able to utilize them as well. So by side, we're going to classify them as equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. And by angle, we're going to classify them by acute, right, or obtuse. So I wish I could see you all in person and I would make you articulate those back to me. Okay, so let's just start off like super easy. On this little worksheet, I'm actually going to have you classify by either side or by angle, and then we're going to put them together. Oh, and one other side note. Your homework for this evening is actually a worksheet that I sent via email. This section in the book was pretty good, but didn't talk too much about classifying in this way. And most of the assignment had you using something called a protractor. And you would only need it for a single session. And because we're not together, I opted to do this worksheet form of classifying triangles instead of the work in the book. So it is 9.3. It's just a slight adjustment in your homework is in the email. I just wanted to add that. Okay, so remember that we can classify by side or by angle. So if the sides are given, then obviously that's how we're going to try to evaluate it. And in this case, all of the sides are different. And so if you look back on your chart, which you need to write in your notes, you should be able to look and identify, okay, when there's all different sides, then that is something called scalene. All right, I'm going to jump over number 2 because I want another one where we just see the sides. And you'd ask yourself, are the sides different or the same? Of course, they are different, and so it is scalene. Let's jump down to this one. Look at all of these, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. So this one is going to be equilateral. All right. And then we got one more down here. I guess we got a few more. This one is also scalene. Okay, so that would be when we're looking at the sides, we can classify them as scalene or isosceles or equilateral. Okay, now we can also judge by the angle measures. So these are going to be either right, acute, or obtuse. So again, we're looking at the angles. All of those angles are less than 90 degrees. So this is going to be an acute triangle. Aw, isn't that cute? Okay, look down at number 5. We see all of these angle measures are less than 90 degrees. So it's acute. But here we go. Here's an angle that's greater than 90 degrees. So that is going to give us an obtuse triangle. So when one angle is greater than 90 degrees, you're going to get an obtuse angle. I don't see any right triangles there. Okay, you're kind of starting to get the idea here. Now, what happens if I put it all together? On the worksheets that I sent for this day's assignment, you'll see a beautiful printout of all of the triangle classifications. And at the beginning of your assignment, you will see basically like some practice problems labeled A, B, C, D, E, and F. And I have so beautifully copied them down on my notepad here. Not really, I couldn't get them to transfer well, so I just went ahead and sketched them just like I would in the classroom. And for this part, I know the assignment says to just classify them by the angle, but your homework is going to ask you to classify them by both. So I wanted to do a little quick practice, and you're going to have to ballpark this a little bit, but I wanted you guys to practice identifying both the angle and the side. So we're going to write the angle first and then the side. Okay, so for A, they tell us that these two, or it looks like these two, are the same, and it does not appear, I'm sorry, that is not written in their assignment. Okay, it appears that these two sides are the same, and that this angle right here looks bigger than 90 degrees. So because I have an angle greater than 90, this is going to be an obtuse triangle. And it looks like I have two sides the same. So looking at your sides, that makes it an isosceles triangle. So we would say that this is an obtuse isosceles triangle. So that's the classification by angle and by side. Okay, looking at part B, it looks like all of these angles are nice and short. They are less than 90 degrees. We don't have a 90-degree angle, and I don't have anything bigger than that. So that makes this an acute triangle. And then it appears as if all of these sides are the same, which would make it equilateral. So this would be an acute equilateral triangle. In part C, it looks like we have a little right angle there, which makes it a right triangle. So my angle measure is right. And then it looks like all of those sides are different to me. So that would make it a right scaling triangle. If I'm going too fast, then pause it and catch up. Okay, in part D, again, I'm looking at the angle measures. They all look less than 90. I don't see a 90-degree angle in there. So that would be acute. And it looks like those two sides are the same, which would make it isosceles. So this is an acute isosceles triangle. In part E, that angle looks big, looks bigger than 90 to me. So this would be an obtuse triangle. And it looks like the sides are all different. So I'm going to say that this is an obtuse scalene triangle. And for part F, look at all of these angles. They look less than 90. So it's going to be an acute, and I think that the sides look pretty well the same. So I'm going to say this is an acute equilateral triangle. Okay, and that's your homework. So we're just identifying angles and we're identifying sides and being able to classify them appropriately, and then draw some for your homework. So make sure that you finish up your notes and begin your assignment.